Hey Vickies! I have a really short video for you today because that's all I had time for, unfortunately. But hopefully you enjoy these 4 stories about the glitch in the Matrix. Talk to you after. I'm a 20-year-old male. So to put into perspective, my girlfriend of 2 years, 19-year-old female, lost her mother unexpectedly 6 months before her and I met. Her mother and her were very close. They were practically best friends. Now it's New Year's Eve and we're headed to her best friend's house for a party. My girlfriend decides to wear one of the last things her mother gave to her before passing away, a pair of gold earrings. At some point throughout the night, she loses an earring. Devastated, we all retrace our every step and we do manage to find the backing to it, but no earring. It's now 24 hours later. I'm lying in her bed by myself with no clothes on while she's in the shower. I'm reading a book when all of a sudden, the fucking earring gets dropped onto my bare chest out of nowhere. I look around, nobody else is in the room, nobody else is in the house, just my girlfriend mindlessly showering in the room beside me. Edit. I do not have long hair, and I was not wearing a hat. Absolutely zero chance it was stuck to me. I'm currently sitting in my room, unpacking as I just got home from college. As I'm sitting on my desk arranging my computer, I look over at the door, which is to the left of me, because my cat meowed by the closed door and wants to be let out. I tell myself I'll finish my current task and let her out. I turn away and she meows again while staring at the door. I turn back to her and she gives out a large yawn, turns her head away, and proceeds to walk through the door to the hallway outside my room. I sit there for a second, confused. Then it hits me. She walked through the door. It was as if she'd just phased through in some science fiction way. I quickly got up from the chair and I open the door and look at her and she's just licking herself, like nothing just happened, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. I bend down and touch the door where she passed through, and it's completely solid, and feels and looks like my formal white-colored door. I'm sitting here freaking out because she literally walked through a solid object as if it wasn't there. Am I going crazy, or did I really see that? Okay, so about 11 to 12 years ago, when I was 15 to 16 years old, still living with my parents, I would stay up after they were asleep and sneak out to my dad's truck to listen to my CDs, since my religious parents weren't very accepting of my taste in bands like Paramore and Flyleaf. I was so edgy. Anyway, on a particularly bad night of fighting with my parents, I waited for the clear, took my favorite CD, Flyleaf, and snuck outside. Before trying to somehow crank the truck without waking anyone, I realized I forgot my soda. I went to go back and leaned on my CD and snapped it into 3 pieces. I remember it looking odd to me how the pieces looked so even. So now, more upset than before, I went inside for my drink and to grab a different CD. Can't remember what I picked. And when I returned to the truck, there was my Flyleaf CD, not in pieces or even a scratch. Looked brand new, actually. I freaked out and confused because it had been broken 5 minutes before. I just decided to call it a night. Anyone else ever experience something like this? Hi guys, first time posting here. I was in a plane flying from Costa Rica to Denver a couple weeks ago, and somewhere over Arizona or New Mexico, couldn't tell exactly because the Wi-Fi had also just gone out in the plane, there was a part of the sky that appeared where the clouds broke in a perfectly straight line, like it was rendering. I see people on here say, get a picture, and I actually did, but I guess we can't post pictures here. The people in window seats in front and behind me were sleeping, and by the time I woke up my wife to show her, it was gone. The sky was just normal, fluffy clouds with no sharp lines. I posted this to a weather subreddit, and the answers from them were basically, it's a glitch in the matrix, and no meteorologist had any explanation for it that wasn't completely vague speculation. Anyone seen anything like this? This was my first solid glitch I've ever noticed, at least on such a large scale. Comment. Wow, I seriously just told somebody a story about my glitch with the clouds, and then I open up Reddit and your story is the very first one I see. I'm going to copy and paste my story I just wrote. In 2014, I was standing outside on my front porch. Next to my house was a big greenbelt/water retention area. I lived at the end of the street where the street begins to curve to go on to the next street, if that makes sense. So I had a neighbor to the right of me after the street curved, so the neighbor's house was facing east and my house was facing south, and the greenbelt was in between both of our houses. That sounds confusing, I know. Anyway, the entire sky was gray, like it was rainy weather. No blue anywhere in the sky, so basically it was just a giant sheet of gray cloud. I noticed that it had started to sprinkle this really weird type of drizzle on the neighbor's house, but not my house and none of the other neighbors' houses. I knew this because I could see the line of demarcation from where the rain stopped on the sidewalk. This neighbor had another neighbor directly to its right. That neighbor's house was not getting rained on either. I thought it was really odd, but I decided to go inside for a second and open the garage to take the trash cans out to the road. So after I wheeled the trash cans out to the road, I stopped there to look around to see if it was still raining on the neighbor's house. It was not. So I walked out to the greenbelt because I could hear a rumbling noise. It was like the sound of a dishwasher running, but up in the sky. It was a very low rumble, and I could not pinpoint where it was coming from other than up, and the noise was spread out, so it wasn't centralized to any one area in the sky. It was just rumbling in the clouds. The noise that it was making was like this vrrt, 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 vrrt. It's hard to describe a noise through text, but if you can just try to say that noise out loud, then you might be able to get the idea. So I'm standing there looking up at the sky, and the gray blanket of cloud starts parting, and as it is parting, the rumble is getting louder, as if the rumble was coming from up inside the clouds. When I say the clouds were parting, I mean perfectly. Hold your arms straight out in front of you and put them together, and then slowly start to move them apart from each other. The blanket of clouds was parting with a perfect line formed straight down the middle of the clouds, and it was opening up, revealing perfectly clear blue sky up inside of the clouds, and the rumbling was getting louder the further apart the part opened. I ran inside to get my phone to take a picture or video, and my phone died. I had an old cell phone that I tried to use, and I couldn't get it to turn on. I even tried to use my ex-boyfriend's professional camera that he had at my house, but I couldn't figure out how to work it. So I was unable to get any visual proof of what I'm talking about. So I ran back outside to see what was happening, and it began to close. The perfect straight line down the middle of the clouds that had opened up and parted perfectly was now closing, and the rumbling sound was getting lighter. It had finally closed back together, and the rumbling had stopped. I'm looking around my neighborhood to see if anyone else was standing outside, and there was no one. Absolutely nobody. I was the only person that saw this happen, and it was directly over the top of the greenbelt, in between my house and the neighbor's house. Hello, little Vickies. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard and you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe and hit the like button, as they're both very helpful to my growth here on YouTube. If you have a suggestion or simply want to say hello, please leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. If you have a story of your own you'd like to share and possibly have read on the channel, send it to me at veronica45stories@gmail.com. Link is also in the description, as are other ways to support the channel if you feel so inclined. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday by 5 p.m. Pacific as often as I can. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it more than I can say. And until next time, be good.